Hey y'all, welcome to day 2 of our 3-day series talking about life insurance one-on-one. Yesterday, we talked about the basics, the fundamentals. We went into some definitions as well as how to make a plan. Today is day 2, in which we are going to take a deeper dive into the different types of coverages of life insurance, as well as their benefits, some pros and cons. And at the end, as promised, I have a special treat that I'll be sharing with everyone. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, my name is Sheree. I educate individuals about the risk in not having enough life insurance, how to select and educate your beneficiary, and how to improve your overall understanding of life insurance. I once paid millions of dollars in life insurance claims at 2 different insurance companies, and every day I touched a claim that was either delayed for one reason or another or denied, which means the family got absolutely nothing. And more times than not, delays and denials are avoidable. So I want to help you and your beneficiary be prepared for that. So let's jump right into it. Day 2. Today we're talking about different types of life insurance coverage. Now, how many of you have some type of coverage? If you have some type of coverage, make sure you comment the word "me" below. I want to see who you are. I want to learn more about where you got this coverage. Is it through your employer? Is it through a third party? I like to shout out everyone who has taken that step and they have some type of coverage. Now, if you don't have coverage, if you don't have life insurance at all, I want to encourage you to get some. It's so important that we have some coverage rather than no coverage at all, because remember, we don't want to leave anyone else responsible for financing our funeral and our final affairs. And we can prepare for that. We can avoid that by being prepared today. So, the first type of coverage we're going to talk about the 2 major coverages: term life insurance and whole life insurance. So let's start with term. Most people are familiar with term life insurance. It's one of the basic coverages. Term life insurance, the definition of that means that you have life insurance for a certain term. If you have life insurance through your employer, then when you leave that employer, the term has ended for that coverage. Other policies, term coverage policies through maybe a separate insurance company or an outside third party like a bank, those term coverages have deadlines on them. You can have a term coverage for 10 years, a term coverage for 20 years, a term coverage for 30 years. Whatever time frame has been set on that, what that means is your coverage will end when that term ends, right? So one of the major pros in term coverage is it is very, very affordable. I got term coverage when I was just 21 years old. And because I was young and healthy and didn't have any health issues, my term coverage was only $21 a month. That's a steal. That's super affordable. Most people think that coverage, that life insurance costs so much money, and it really doesn't. Studies do show that about 43% of people think that life insurance is actually more expensive than it actually is. And just imagine the individuals that just opt out of it all because they think it's expensive, when more than likely they can afford it, right? So term coverage is very affordable. If you have term coverage through your employer, you will learn that the premiums are super low, or like in my case, my employer provides term coverage to me at no cost at all. It is completely free. 1 times my salary is free to me. There's also options to increase that term coverage with my employer, and I would have a lower premium, a low premium period, because I don't pay any premium right now. So say I wanted 1.5 times my coverage, it would probably be $5 a month. If I want 2 times, it would probably be $10. It is a very affordable coverage, which is why most people have some form of term coverage. It's also why your employer offers term coverage. Super cheap, very, very affordable. One of the cons to term coverage is the term piece of that. Because if you get term coverage today for 10 years, say 10 years is the term, you foresee you living longer than 10 years, so you need coverage beyond that. So you could always elect to get a longer term, or you could elect to get what's called whole life insurance. Whole life insurance is the next biggest policy that people opt into. It's either term or whole life, most popular. And whole life insurance means just what it says. You have life insurance for your whole life. There are some policies that will end at like 99 or 100, but it's for your whole life. And that's one of the major benefits. You don't have to worry about electing coverage again and again because the terms keep ending, like in the term coverage. You have that from the start of electing it to the time you pass away, and your family will receive the payout for that. One of the major pros to whole life insurance, which is why so many people elect into this coverage, is that you can borrow against your whole life and use it for basically whatever you want. People withdraw from their whole life to put a down payment on a house, to buy a new car. Some people even use it to start a business because it's your money, and depending on, you know, what the policy says, what the agreements are, you can elect a certain amount, a certain percentage. And for most people, depending on the amount of that coverage, say it's 10%, say it's 25%, that could be some deep 5-figure withdrawals. You could do something with that money. So that is one of the major benefits in electing whole life insurance, is that you can borrow against it. And people view it as you having your own bank. So if you want to buy a house, get a car, start a business, rather than going to a bank and getting a ridiculous high interest rate, you can just withdraw from your own life insurance tax-free. So it's a win-win. One of the cons to whole life insurance is it's expensive. It's costly. It's expensive. It could easily cost a couple $100s a month. And that might not be affordable for everyday people. But again, the benefit of paying that higher premium is that you have a higher life insurance amount in which you can withdraw life insurance from and be your own bank. Okay. So, how much life insurance do you need? How much life insurance do you need? How much life insurance do you think you need is the question. Let me know in the comments. Put an amount in there, and that's going to tell me how much life insurance you think you need. Remember, life insurance amount varies for every individual. Your situation is different from their situation is different from that lifestyle, so on and so forth. Think of it as a house. When you buy a house, you might want to buy, when you buy a house, they ask you, how many bedrooms do you want? How many bathrooms do you want? What square footage are you looking at? What is your budget? Right? They ask you all those questions so that they can narrow down what's the best house that suits your needs. Do you want an apartment? Do you want a condo? Do you want a single family home? Do you want a duplex? Everybody's needs are different. The same rules apply with life insurance. I am a wife and a mom with a family of 4. That might not be your situation, but my life insurance my life insurance amount is going to be different than yours, right? Even if you are a wife and a mom of 2 children as well, our life insurance amounts are going to be different because our lifestyles are different. Our wants, needs, and desires are different. So I'm going to go through some of the top 2 things that you need to consider when calculating how much life insurance you need. I hope y'all got pen and paper. Pause this video, get you a pen and paper ready so that you can write out these 2 things and apply it to you and your lifestyle. Number 1, the first thing you need to consider when calculating your life insurance amount is how much debt do you have? How much debt do you have? Maybe you're debt free, and maybe you can put a 0 in this section. But if you are not debt free, if you have student loans, if you have credit cards, if you have student loans from your children's education that you paid for, if you have a car loan that you are still paying for, what does your debt include? I need you to write that out. Write out everything that you owe. When you pay your bills monthly, who are you paying? Write them out. Because even in your death, they need to be paid. Debt is one of the major things, especially student loans, that does not go away with death. It does not go away with death. So I need you to write out all your debts, because whatever that total amount is for you, that number needs to be factored into your overall life insurance amount. So say you have a life insurance policy for $30,000 because you anticipate that this is going to be a good amount for your family to pay for a funeral and pay for a repast, maybe even pay for burial. That's the plan with that $30,000. After you write out who you owe and what your debt is, guess what? You need to add that plus sign, include this amount of debt into that $30,000, because $30,000 is now not enough life insurance for you. I know, but it has to be done. Because if not, your family now has to reach into their pockets, use their own money, use their own savings, take from their own children's future education to now pay for your debt. You don't want that, right? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to leave their family burdened with these expenses. Okay, so the second major item that you need to consider when calculating your life insurance amount is your mortgage. If you are a homeowner, if you have a freestanding house, if you have a condo, if you have rental properties, and you still pay on them in some way, shape, or form monthly, that could include principal on your mortgage, the principal and taxes. That could even include utilities. Even if you have paid your house off, that includes the taxes that you have to pay twice a year. I need you to write that out. How much do you pay monthly for the mortgage? This is another form of debt, but it's a separate category. What that means is not only how much do you pay monthly, what is the remaining balance? Because that's what's going to be viewed. If you've ever paid off a house, you know they'll let you know what the remaining balance is. I believe you can lock into that amount for 2 weeks or so. What is your debt? Do you owe $100,000 left on your home? Is it more or less? Whatever that is for you, I need you to find that number. I need you to make that phone call. I need you to ask that question. Obviously, with the 2 weeks, it'll change, but it'll ballpark, it will stay that. What does that amount look like for you? Write that down. And guess what we're doing with that amount? You said it, we are adding plus sign to that $30,000 policy that we thought was enough coverage, along with our debt amount. We are adding those numbers together, and that total amount is now our new life insurance amount. That tells us how much coverage you actually need. Okay. Now, I promised you guys a surprise at the end of day 2. Today we have talked about whole life coverage, what the benefits are, the pros and cons. We've talked about term coverage, what the benefits are, and the pros and cons of that as well. We just talked about how much coverage do you actually need and how that's different for every individual. No two people are the same, not even husband and wife, right? Now, my gift for you all is a free life insurance calculator. I just went through the 2 major items to consider when calculating how much life insurance you need, but there's actually a total of 5 different things that you need to factor in when calculating your life insurance amount. So it doesn't stop at the 2 that we talked about today. There are now 3 additional things that you need to factor in. It is my gift to you all. I hope that you print this out, that you go through this, that you study this, you share this information with your family so that your household could be on one accord and that this is beneficial for you. No more playing the guessing game. No more assuming, oh, 100,000 is good. Oh, 250,000 is good. Oh, if I have $1 million policy, I'm golden. No, know your numbers. Know how much money you need. We go into a plan with everything else, right? We just finished some major holidays. We celebrated Christmas. We celebrated New Year's. If you had a Christmas party or a New Year's party, would you go into planning that without any direction? Would you go into planning an event without knowing how many guests are attending, what your budget is for that event? Where is the location of this event? Is it at your home? Is it at a venue? If it was at a venue, you wouldn't call to make the reservation for that venue a day or 2 before the event, would you? No, you would make a plan. You would ask their prices. You would shop around and see what your other options are. We plan everything else in life except our life insurance. I'm sure you could sit and tell me down to a T what your monthly expenses are. But when it comes to knowing how much life insurance you need, you would guess. You'd assume that some magical number that falls out of the sky is enough. Or you would be dead set on the amount that you could afford. This is all I have. I'm not paying premiums any more than I need to beyond this $50,000 policy. When long and behold, you have $250,000 in debt, you still owe $70,000 on your mortgage, but you could care less. You're not paying a dime over what it costs for this $50,000 policy. And when your time comes and you take your last breath, your family will be looking at each other, knocking their heads together, wishing that you had planned differently. Please don't do that. Prepare today. You have a chance to prepare today. I want to gift you my free life insurance calculator. I will share the link for that in the description. you will receive an instant download in which you can print this off and complete it at your own leisure. Feel free to email me directly if you have any questions about that or want some further assistance. Let me know. I hope that was helpful to you guys. I hope you enjoyed day 2 of our series. We will be back again tomorrow. Tomorrow we will be discussing how to select your beneficiaries, how to vet your beneficiaries, how to educate your beneficiaries, and how you both need to understand your life insurance policy. Be sure to share this with someone that you love and invite them to tomorrow's day 3. I have so much in store for you guys, and I don't want anyone to miss it. Okay? Have an amazing day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.